Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Riyaz Hussain, and today our lecture is lecture number 32. Topic of our discussion is scale prevention and corrosion in boiler. In the previous lecture, we have discussed what are the problems of the boiler. Among the problem of boilers, we have discussed scale and sludge formation, and today we will discuss corrosion in boiler. Corrosion is the major problem of the boiler. Key concepts. Following concepts will be covered in this lecture. We will discuss what are various problems of the boilers, what is scale, what are disadvantages of the scale, how the scale is removed, what is priming and foaming, what are various causes of boiler corrosion, and how they are avoided. Boiler problems. The water feed to the boiler. What type of problems raised by that water within the boiler are called boiler problems. Boiler problem: scales and sludge formation, priming, foaming, carryover, boiler corrosion, as well as caustic embrittlement. These are the 6 boiler problems. Scales are hard deposits firmly sticking to the inner surface of the boiler. They are difficult to remove even with the help of hammer and chisel, and are the main source of boiler trouble. Scales are harder in nature while sludges are looser in nature. The removal of sludge is easy process. The sludge can be removed through a wire brush, but the removal of scale is a very difficult process. Even its removal with hammer is also a difficult task. Causes of formation of scales. Scales may be formed inside the boiler due to, first one, the decomposition of calcium bicarbonate. It means the water which is fed to the boiler is a hard water. The hard water is the water which contain bicarbonates of calcium or magnesium, or we can say chlorides of calcium and magnesium, or the hard water may contain sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Bicarbonates, chlorides, as well as sulfates of calcium and magnesium present in the water in a soluble form, in the dissolved form. The question is, the hardness causing substances are the salts of calcium or magnesium, or the salts of other metals may also cause the hardness. Yes, we can say other salts of other metals like heavy metals including iron may also cause hardness of the water. If water fed to the boiler is a hard water and the hardness is due to the presence of calcium bicarbonate, then remember, bicarbonates, chlorides or sulfates are soluble in water at lower temperature. As the temperature of water rises, then these salts converted to the other compounds which can cause scale formation. See first one, if the hard water contain calcium bicarbonate, then upon rising of the temperature, the calcium bicarbonate get decomposes calcium bicarbonate upon decomposition, upon heating, converted to calcium carbonate, that is insoluble. Calcium bicarbonate soluble in the water. When upon heating it is converted to the calcium carbonate, these calcium carbonates are insoluble in the insoluble material, settle down in the bottom and firmly sticks on the walls of the boiler. With the formation of calcium carbonate, water and CO2 is also produced. CO2 is a gas removed from the surface of the water. However, scale composed chiefly of calcium carbonate is soft and is the main cause of scale formation in low pressure boiler. So, low pressure boiler, the scale formed in the low pressure boiler is due to the accumulation of calcium carbonate, and scale consisting of only calcium carbonate material is the soft scale. But in high pressure boilers, this calcium carbonate under high pressure becomes soluble and form the calcium hydroxide. Calcium carbonate get dissolved in water at high pressure and it gives us calcium hydroxide soluble. It means calcium carbonate becomes soluble at high pressure with the evolution of carbon dioxide gas. So, if the water fed to the boiler contain calcium bicarbonate, then with the rise of temperature in the boiler, the calcium bicarbonate converted to the calcium carbonate are insoluble in water and settle down on the inner walls of the boiler. So, the formation of calcium carbonate is actually the scale, and this is a soft scale formation, soft nature scale. Decomposition of calcium sulfate. The solubility of calcium sulfate in water decreases with the increase in temperature. Calcium sulfate is soluble in cold water but almost completely insoluble in superheated water. It may be due to increased ionization at high temperature, so KSP become less than K ionic product, and less availability of water molecules for solvation at high temperature. As a result of rise of temperature, solubility of calcium sulfate decreases and calcium sulfate become converted to the precipitate and settle down in the bottom. Consequently, calcium sulfate gets precipitated as hard scale on the hotter parts of the boiler. This type of scale causes troubles mainly in high pressure boilers. Calcium sulfate scale is quite adherent and difficult to remove even with the help of hammer as well as chisel. The third one is hydrolysis of magnesium salts. Dissolved magnesium salts get hydrolyzed at high temperature inside the boiler, forming magnesium hydroxide precipitate, which forms a soft type of scale. So, the water fed to, as I described in the previous slide, the water fed to the boiler is a hard water, and the hardness causing substance is either calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate, or we can say it's a chloride of calcium or magnesium, or we can say it may be the sulfates of calcium or magnesium. So, we have discussed what happened to the calcium bicarbonate or calcium sulfate with the rise of temperature inside the boiler. So, here we will discuss what happened to the magnesium bicarbonate, or we can say magnesium chlorides within the boiler. Magnesium salts get hydrolyzed within the boiler as the temperature rises. If it's a magnesium bicarbonate, then magnesium bicarbonate with the rise of temperature will be converted to the magnesium carbonate. This magnesium carbonate becomes soluble with water and produce magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide are water insoluble and settle down in the bottom, which is actually the scale, causing substance. So remember, when with the rise of temperature, calcium bicarbonate is converted to the calcium carbonate, and calcium carbonate is insoluble in the water and become the reason of the formation of the scale. While if the substance is magnesium bicarbonate, then with the rise of temperature, this magnesium bicarbonate is also converted into the magnesium carbonate. But magnesium carbonate is not the source of scale forming substance. As this magnesium carbonate is formed, it becomes soluble in the water and it gives us magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide is insoluble substance settled down in the bottom, and this magnesium hydroxide is actually the scale forming substance produced from the salts of the magnesium. See here, if it's a magnesium chloride, then magnesium chloride upon react with water gives us magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide settled down in the bottom, precipitates out and form the scale. If the impurities present in the hard water are the silica, even if a small quantity of SiO2 is present, it may deposit as calcium silicate, or we can say it may deposit as magnesium silicate. These deposits adhere very firmly on the inner side of the boiler surface and are very difficult to remove. One important source of silica in water is the sand filter, or simply the sand. Disadvantages of scale formation. In this slide we will discuss various disadvantages of scale formation. The first disadvantage is wastage of fuel. Scales have a poor thermal conductivity, so the rate of heat transfer from boiler to inside water is greatly reduced. In order to provide a steady supply of heat to water, excessive or overheating is done, and this causes increase in fuel consumption. So if the scale is formed on the inner side of the boiler, then steam production become very expensive process. The second disadvantage of scale formation is lowering of boiler safety. Due to scale formation, overheating of boiler is done in order to maintain a steady supply of steam. It makes the boiler material softer and weaker. As a result, distortion of boiler tube occur, and which makes the boiler unsafe to bear the pressure of the steam, especially in high pressure boilers. The third disadvantage of scale formation is decrease in efficiency of the boiler. Deposition of scale in the valves and condenser of boiler choke them partially, which results in decrease in the efficiency of the boiler. The fourth disadvantage of scale formation is danger of explosion. When thick scales crack due to uneven expansion, the water comes suddenly in contact with overheated portion and large amount of steam is formed instantaneously. Formation of large amount of steam results in the development of sudden high pressure, which may cause explosion of the boiler. Removal of scales. The scales formed on the inner side of the boiler due to presence of hardness causing substance in water, and those scales cause various disadvantages including fuel consumption and explosion in boiler. In this slide we will discuss how the scale is removed. We will discuss various methods of removing of scales deposited on the inner walls of the boiler. Scales are removed by mechanical method and also by chemical methods. The method 1 to method 3 is the mechanical method, and the fourth method mentioned in this slide is the chemical method. If the scales are loosely adhering, the removal of scale depends upon the nature of the scale. Either the scale is loosely adhering or it is hardly adhering. If the scales are loosely adhering, it can be removed with the help of scraper or piece of wood or simply wire brush. If the scales are brittle, it can be removed by giving thermal shocks, i.e. heating the boiler and then suddenly cooling with cold water. If the scales are brittle, then brittle scales are removed by simple giving thermal shocks to the boiler. As a result of providing thermal shocks and then sudden cooling of the boiler cause the removal of scale deposited on the inner wall of the boiler. If the scales are loosely adhering, they can also be removed by frequent blow down operation. Blow down operation. What is blow down operation? Blow down operation is partial removal of hard water through a tap at the bottom of the boiler. When extent of hardness in the boiler becomes alarmingly high, makeup water is addition of fresh softened water to boiler after blow down operation. It means when we know that the water passing through the boiler is the hard water, then by blow down operation the impurities, the scales deposited on the bottom of the boiler is removed through a tap which present at the bottom of the boiler. After removal of the scales formed at the bottom of the boiler, then a fresh soft water is passed through the boiler so that all the scales present on the bottom of the boiler can be removed easily. This is called blow down operation. If the scales are adherent and hard, they can be removed by dissolving them or by adding some chemicals, e.g. calcium carbonate scales can be dissolved by using 5 to 10% hydrochloric acid. Calcium sulfate scales can be removed by adding solution of EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraestic acid. Since the calcium EDTA complex is highly soluble in water, when a solution of EDTA is added to the boiler, then calcium sulfate scales which are deposited on the inner wall of the boiler get dissolved in the solution by forming a calcium EDTA complex. Calcium EDTA complex is water soluble and can be removed easily. In this way, the scales deposited on the inner side of the boiler are removed. Priming. When steam is produced rapidly in the boiler, some droplets of water are carried along with the steam. This process of wet steam formation is called priming. Priming is caused by 1. The presence of considerable quantities of dissolved solids, mainly due to suspended impurities and due to dissolved impurities in water. Steam velocities high enough to carry droplets of water into the steam pipe. Priming is also caused by sudden boiling, and it also caused by faulty design of boiler. Priming can be avoided by 1. Here we will discuss various methods used to avoid priming. By controlling a rapid change in steam velocity, the proper design of boiler maintaining low water level in boilers, by ensuring efficient softening and filtration of the boiler water carried over to the boiler. Priming is also avoided by blowing off sludge or scales from time to time. Foaming. Foaming is another problem of the boiler. Foaming, what is foaming? Foaming is the formation of small but persistent foam or bubbles at the water surface in boilers which do not break easily. Foaming is caused by the presence of an algal and alkalis present in boiler feed water. Actually, algae and alkalis react to form soaps, which greatly lowers the surface tension of water and thus increase the foaming tendency of the liquid. Methods of avoiding from foaming. In this slide we will discuss various methods which are applied to avoid foaming inside the boiler. The first method is the addition of anti-foaming agents which act by counteracting the reduction in surface tension. For example, addition of castor oil into the boiler water. The castor oil spreads on the surface of water and therefore neutralizes the surface tension reduction inside the boiler water. The other method is the removal of foaming agent. The foaming agent is oil. By the removal of foaming agent from boiler water, the process of foaming is avoided by also removal of foaming agent from boiler water. Traces of oils are generally introduced in boiler feed water through the lubricating material used for pumps. Usually we use oils as a lubricating material. As a result of using lubricating material, some oil droplets enter into the boiler feed water and cause foaming formation. Such oils can be removed by the addition of anti-foaming agents, which are compounds of aluminium like sodium aluminate as well as aluminium sulfate. When the aluminium compounds like sodium aluminate or aluminium sulfate are added to the boiler water, then these aluminium compounds hydrolyzed and form aluminium hydroxide. Aluminium hydroxide precipitates out in the form of flux, which entrap oil droplets. The flux of aluminium hydroxide containing oil droplets are removed by filtration through anthrafilled filter bed. Carryover. Another problem which may occur in the boiler is the carryover. The phenomena of carrying of water along with impurities. Carrying of water along with impurities by steam is called carryover. This is mainly due to priming and foaming. Priming and foaming usually occur together. They are objectionable because the dissolved salts or suspended solids present in boiler water are carried by the wet steam to superheater and turbine blades, where these suspended solids get deposited as water evaporates. These deposits decreases the efficiency of boiler. The dissolved salts may enter the parts of other machinery where they decrease the life of various parts of other machinery. The maintenance of the boiler pressure becomes difficult because of improper judgment of actual height of water column, because the impurities are carried with steam and enter to the other part of the machinery as well as water column, where they get deposited as the water evaporates into the bottom of the water column. As a result of deposition of suspended particles or impurities put in the water, the level of the water column cannot be judged easily. So, the priming and foaming both collectively work together, and this is called carryover problem of the boiler. Boiler corrosion. Boiler corrosion is decay or disintegration of boiler, or we can say boiler corrosion is disintegration of boiler body material either due to chemical or electrochemical reaction with its environment. The disadvantages of corrosion are shortening of boiler life, leakage of the joints and rivets, increased cost of repairs and maintenance. Corrosion in boiler is due to the following reasons. Various reasons which cause corrosion in the boiler. The first reason of causing boiler corrosion is the dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen, this is the most usual corrosion causing factor of the boiler. In boiler, oxygen is introduced through the raw water supply. Water usually contains about 8 ppm of dissolved oxygen at room temperature. As the water inside the boiler is heated, the dissolved oxygen is set free and the boiler starts corroding. When the water is heated, the oxygen dissolved in water become free, and this oxygen react with the iron. As a result of this reaction of iron with the oxygen, corrosion of the boiler occur. Dissolved oxygen react with the iron of boiler in presence of water and under high temperature to form ferric oxide, which is rust. As a result of formation of rust, life of boiler start decreasing. Iron react with water in the presence of oxygen, produce ferrous hydroxide. Ferrous hydroxide upon reaction with more oxygen gives us Fe2O3, ferric hydroxide rust. Removal of dissolved oxygen. Oxygen dissolved in boiler feed water can be removed by following methods: by adding hydrazine or sodium sulfite to the boiler feed water. What happened when the hydrazine is added to the boiler feed water? Hydrazine react with oxygen. N2H4 is a hydrazine. It reacts with oxygen and it gives us nitrogen plus water. When sodium sulfite Na2SO3 is added to the oxygen, then sodium sulfite react with oxygen and gives us sodium sulfate. Similarly, when sodium sulfide is added to the boiler feed water, then sodium sulfide Na2S react with oxygen and it also produced Na2SO4 in the presence of water. Hydrazine is an ideal chemical for removal of dissolved oxygen. It reacts with oxygen, forming nitrogen and water. Nitrogen is harmless. Consequently, hydrazine removes oxygen without increasing the concentration of dissolved solids or salts. Remember, oxygen can cause corrosion of the boiler, but when oxygen is trapped by hydrazine, then hydrazine produces nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas do not cause the corrosion of the boiler. Pure hydrazine is not used in water treatment because it is an explosive, inflammable liquid. So 40% aqueous solution of hydrazine is used, which is quite safe. Excess hydrazine must not be used because excess of it decomposes to give NH3, which cause corrosion of some alloys like brass, etc. used in condenser tubes. So avoid by using excess of hydrazine because excess hydrazine is converted to the ammonia, and the ammonia gas produced inside the boiler can cause corrosion of some alloys used in various parts of the boiler machinery system. Dissolved oxygen can be removed by using sodium sulfite Na2SO3 or sodium sulfide Na2S. When sodium sulfite or sodium sulfide is added to the boiler feed water, then these salts are converted to sodium sulfate. During formation of sodium sulfate, the oxygen dissolved in the boiler feed water is removed. Under high pressure, it decomposes, giving SO2. The SO2 enters the steam pipes and appears as corrosive sulfurous acid in steam condensate. So, as a rule, a very low concentration of 5 to 10 ppm of sodium sulfite in the boiler is used, rather adding it intermittently. By mechanical deaeration. Mechanical deaeration is also a method which is used for the removal of dissolved oxygen in the water. This process consists of spraying water over preheated perforated plates stacked in a tower. Removal of dissolved oxygen is ensured by applying high temperature and vacuum. Second factor which causes boiler corrosion is the carbon dioxide. There are two sources of carbon dioxide in boiler water: dissolved carbon dioxide in raw water and carbon dioxide formed by decomposition of bicarbonates in water according to the equation in the previous slides where we were discussing scale formation. Magnesium bicarbonate is the hardness causing substance of water. So magnesium bicarbonate upon heating is converted to the magnesium carbonate, water and CO2. Similarly, calcium bicarbonate also produces calcium carbonate and carbon dioxide upon heating. So the carbon dioxide in boiler feed water, there are two sources of carbon dioxide in boiler feed water. The first source is the dissolved oxygen, carbon dioxide in raw water, and the other source is carbon dioxide produced from the decomposition of calcium bicarbonate or magnesium bicarbonate. Carbon dioxide, when present in the boiler feed water, it is converted to the carbonic acid in presence of water. This carbonic acid has a corrosive effect on the boiler material like any other acid. Water, upon reacting with carbon dioxide, produce carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid, or we can say it's hydrogen carbonate, this causes corrosive effect on the boiler material. Removal of carbon dioxide. CO2 gas can be removed by mechanical deaeration along with O2. By CO2 can also be removed by removing the calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate through filtration, by filtering water through for the removal of limestone, calcium carbonate, or by converting calcium carbonate into calcium bicarbonate. As a result of conversion of calcium carbonate to calcium bicarbonate, the CO2 gas is trapped by the calcium carbonate. But this method increases the hardness. The third method to remove the carbon dioxide is the addition of appropriate quantity of ammonium hydroxide. When the ammonium hydroxide is added, the carbon dioxide gets dissolved or trapped by ammonium hydroxide, and it produces ammonium carbonate, NH4 twice CO3. By adding ammonium hydroxide, the CO2 gas is also removed present in the boiler feed water. The third factor is the presence of mineral acids inside the boiler feed water. Mineral acids are also the corrosion causing agent of the boiler. Magnesium chloride, if present in boiler feed water, can undergo hydrolysis producing hydrochloric acid, which is a mineral acid. Magnesium chloride is hardness causing substance. The hardness of the water is also due to the presence of magnesium chloride. Magnesium chloride, upon reacting with water, gives magnesium hydroxide scale. Magnesium hydroxide is insoluble in water, get deposited on the inner walls of the boiler and also produce hydrochloric acid, which is a mineral acid. The liberated acid react with iron material of the boiler to form ferrous hydroxide, which in turn is converted to rust in the following way. Iron, upon reacting with HCl, gives us FeCl2. FeCl2 upon reaction with water gives us ferrous hydroxide. This ferrous hydroxide upon reacting with dissolved oxygen gives us rust, that is ferric oxide. So ferric oxide is a rust which causes corrosion of the boiler. Thus a small amount of HCl may cause extensive corrosion. Since HCl is produced in a chain-like manner, consequently presence of even a small amount of magnesium chloride cause corrosion of iron to a larger extent. As the boiler water is generally alkaline and hence the acid is usually neutralized. In case the amount of acid is more, calculated quantity of alkali is added from outside to neutralize the acid for preventing this corrosion. How the mineral acid corrosion of the boiler is avoided? Just by adding calculated amount of alkaline material, or we can say calculated amount of alkali. When calculated amount of alkali is added, then this alkali neutralizes the acid produced inside the boiler and avoid corrosion which is caused by mineral acids. Caustic embrittlement. The other factor which causes boiler corrosion is the caustic embrittlement. Caustic embrittlement is the phenomena during which the boiler material becomes brittle due to the accumulation of caustic substances. This type of boiler corrosion is caused by the use of highly alkaline water in the high pressure boiler. How the caustic accumulation of caustic substances occur in the boiler feed water? During softening process of the hard water by using lime soda process, it is likely that some residual amount of sodium carbonate remain present in the soft water. When this water enters into high pressure boiler, then this sodium carbonate decompose to give sodium hydroxide and carbon dioxide. Sodium hydroxide thus produced makes the boiler water caustic, and this sodium hydroxide causes caustic embrittlement of boiler. This caustic water flows into the minute hair cracks present in the inner side of the boiler by capillary action. On evaporation of water, the dissolved caustic soda concentration increases progressively, which attacks the surrounding area, thereby dissolving iron of boiler as sodium ferrate. This causes embrittlement of boiler walls, more particularly stressed parts like bends, joints, rivets, etc., causing even failure of the boiler. Mechanistically, embrittlement arises due to the setting up of a concentration with the iron surrounded by dilute sodium hydroxide acting as the cathode, while the surrounded by concentrated sodium hydroxide acting as anode, the iron in the anodic part get dissolved or corroded. How the caustic embrittlement can be prevented? Caustic embrittlement can be prevented by using sodium phosphate as softening reagent instead of sodium carbonate in external treatment of boiler water. The other method to avoid caustic embrittlement is by adding tannin or lignin to boiler water, which blocks the hair cracks in the boiler valve, thereby preventing infiltration of caustic soda solution into these areas. Caustic embrittlement can also be avoided by using sodium sulfate to boiler water. Sodium sulfate also blocks hair cracks, thereby preventing infiltration of caustic soda solution in these areas. It has been observed that caustic cracking can be prevented if sodium sulfate is added to boiler water in the ratio which is 1:1 or 2:1 as well as 3:1 in respectively at pressures up to 10, 20 and above 20 atmosphere. Here is assignment. What is boiler corrosion and describe various boiler corrosion causing agents. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.